The prompt for slide 2 is, do you consider your programming language of choice to be reliable? And what concepts does it implement and where is it lacking? So my programming language of choice is C#. So I think that there's some things that it does really well. So it's strongly typed. If you use the var keyword to define your variables, it will turn into a strongly typed type at compile time. There's object-oriented programming, which promotes code reuse. It definitely gets really wild. You can get some weird stuff when you're getting into generics, and sometimes it's fantastic, and sometimes it's like, oh, it's all gobbledygook. I don't even know what's going on. It's a Microsoft platform, and so looking at C#, not just in a black box, not just running on an operating system, but maybe working with web technologies and things that are related to C#. There's lots of like Microsoft comes out with lots of these very well vetted frameworks for your web technologies, for object relational mapping, for just like anything you can think of, right? Like all these major platforms are basically developed directly by Microsoft, or at least vetted by Microsoft. And I think that's something where if you're just talking about the programming language on a very low level, you don't really get the full idea of all the things that we're using, right? So what is it lacking? So I have used Unity in my free time, and I have found some memory leaks, like some really crazy memory leaks. And I don't know if it's a Unity problem, and I don't know if it's a C# problem. To be honest, I think it's because Unity is a platform that you're running your code on, and it has to do probably a whole bunch of, crazy stuff. It's a it's a beast of a platform. But I also think that's kind of indicative that like safety and abstraction are double-edged swords. On one hand, we can say that C++ is not exactly safe, but if you have a problem with your code and you're able to catch it, you can fix it. But in this case, like if the problem is not with your programming language exactly, but with a platform that you're running it on, if it's like a certain web server, or if you're running it in Unity, or there's some sort of engine that you're running it on, how do you do this? Would it be better to just I mean, maybe this is just a bigger discussion all around, like talking about what you should do on your own. There's lots of game companies out there that forego using one of these popular engines and just create their own. So at what point are you like, well, all the things out there are unsafe and broken, so I'll just make my own, but then that's going to come with its own problems, because if you're coding in a low level language, you're still going to have all the safety issues. You just get to manage them yourself, right? So it's great. So I also think C# is really verbose, and at least like on a a line by line basis, it is slow compared to C++, and Rust. This is because C#, like Java, uses a just-in-time compiler. So they're really great. Like it's super fast to compile. It's much faster to run than like a purely interpreted language like Python. But there's pros and cons, and even with some things like Python, like a lot of the libraries are lightning fast because they're written in C and C++. So yeah, I know that I'm just kind of like rambling on, but there's so much to unpack with this, and there's so much in the domain of like the language versus the platform. There's the compilers, there's servers, and all of this stuff that you're working with. And there's some very low level vulnerabilities that you have to worry about.